I'm joined once again by Megan Anderson, who's going to be taking on Cat Zingano at UFC 232 on December 29th. Megan, how are you this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I know you were just with your dog. How is that, owning a pet and also, training and everything like that, having to take, because you got to take your dog for walks, obviously.
Yeah, it's interesting because he's still, he's not even 8 months old. He's still very much a puppy, and so a lot of training. And when I'm done with training, I come home and I just want to rest. And he's just like, "Let's play." So it has been interesting, but he's doing good.
Okay, well, that's good to hear. It's always nice having a companion. We saw you fight in the UFC earlier this year when you made your debut. That was back in June. Here we are talking about a fight in December. By the looks of it on social media, you wanted to get another fight in between there. Why do you think it was so difficult getting you matched up?
Well, the UFC just said that they weren't able to find us a suitable opponent, so we just kind of had to wait until they did.
Okay. So how frustrating was that? Because you already had the layoff, and then I'm sure you figured to be a little bit more active than this.
Yeah, definitely. And, I was talking to my coach, James, and we kind of were just like, look, how long do we want to wait? We already had 18 months off, so we want to be able to fight regularly now that I am able to. So we were kind of getting to a point where we really had to think about what do we want our next move to be, because we can't just wait around and do nothing forever.
Yeah. No, I'm sure very frustrating. Well, one of the ways they're trying to, bring the featherweight division to light more is they just had the Ultimate Fighter, the featherweight season. Did you watch that season at all? And if so, what did you think of the talent level on there?
I did not watch the season at all.
Okay.
If I'm being honest, there was only one legitimate featherweight on the show, so I wasn't really interested in it because, look, we've already got the case of one of the people on the show before the show even finished was already looking at getting a fight in the UFC at 135, so the show hadn't even finished yet. So it's not really a good look. So I wasn't really too... I also don't have cable, so...
Okay, yeah, no, for sure.
It's hard to... Really, it didn't really matter to me about who was on the show or the talent or whatever. What really is going to make my mind up is who they sign, and if they sign anyone. So that will kind of tell me if they are going to build the division or not.
Yeah, I was pretty surprised, actually, the way they structured that cast, just because, like you mentioned, most of the women on there were natural bantamweights, and, here they are fighting at featherweight. The girl who won the show, Macy Chasen, she is a featherweight, so at least that's sort of a good sort of thing to come out of it. Did you happen to watch that fight against her and Pannie Kianzad, and if so, what were your thoughts?
No, I didn't.
Okay, fair enough.
I think it was great for the division that a featherweight won. And I've commentated one of Macy's fights. I think it was her last fight in Invicta. And she has a lot of potential. And she's a young, up-and-coming, she's 3-0. And then that's where I kind of think of, okay, well, where are they going with the division? Because you have someone who won the show, who's 3-0 as a pro. Who do you match her against? You have really only a few other people where you're going to put her against Chris next. That makes no sense at all. You're not going to build her at all. So it kind of, it raises the questions, who are they going to bring in, not just for me and not just for Chris, but even building other athletes in the division.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit confusing as to what they're going to do with that. I imagine they're going to do what they did with Chris, which is they're just going to be pulling people from Invicta, I would think. But you never know. We'll sort of see how that unfolds. But let's talk about you. Obviously, I referenced the fight there against Holly Holm. Didn't come out on top in this one. How do you sort of assess your performance in that fight? What did you learn the most from that one?
We have a lot. It's there's a never truer saying has been spoken as you learn more from a loss than you do a win. Um, so it was good, having some time off from fighting and coming back and seeing where we're at. It was good to see where we needed to work on, and we've made those adjustments.
Yeah. And we're looking forward to it here. And you got a great opponent here in Cat Zingano, a former title challenger. How do you feel like you match up against her in this fight?
I think this is a great fight. I think it's going to be an exciting fight. Cat is tough. Her will to win is strong, and I love that. Like, she's not going to be scared to fight me. So, and I do amazing against those type of people.
Yeah, and it's certainly a good matchup on paper. The one thing I think we have to talk about, usually when you fight, it's sort of the narrative, but you are, a bit bigger than Kat in this fight. You're 6 feet tall, 72-inch reach. She's 5'6" with a 70-inch reach. Do you feel like the size will be a factor in this fight?
I guess.
Well, for some fighters, it's an advantage. Others, it isn't. So, yeah.
I don't really think of it in terms of like size. I guess it's, size can play a factor, but really at the end of the day, it's like skill, like whose skills are better. Because like you might have like the longest reach in the division, but you might fight like you're 5'2". It's what you do with the skills and the attributes that you have, which makes you successful or not. So, I really think that I fight long, and I don't think she's fought anybody like me before. So I think that is a challenge for her, and I'm sure she's training hard to adjust to that.
Did you do any cross training for this camp? I know in the past you have trained at Factory X. Was it just staying at home base at Glory for this one?
Yes, I did just say at Glory. James has a lot of the time when I do go up to Factory X, it's because like James has a fight or he's like traveling a lot, and so this one, since he just fought, it's great because he's here, he's focused on coaching, and but I am having Mark come out, and he's going to be one of my cornermen. So, and I definitely want to go out and spend some time there after this fight and do some training up there, because I just haven't been able to get out there with finances and everything. So I'm hopefully going to do that after this fight.
And what do you think of the success that gym is having, especially? I mean, this year in particular, they've been on a roll, but you were one of the people, I know you and James, that were, sort of cross-training there, years ago. Just, talk a bit about the growth of that gym, and just, it seems like a premier spot. You see a lot of fighters going there to train now.
I think it's amazing, and really, I don't feel like it's the growth of the gym. I think that they've been here. They've been doing amazing things this whole time. It's just the media is now being aware of it because fighters are being in a position that people want to talk to them. So I think just because a gym isn't a big name like Jackson Wink or AKA or ATT doesn't mean that they aren't these successful gyms in the country. Like Mark and them have been there and doing successful things for a long time. It's just now they're finally getting the recognition they deserve.
And speaking of training partners, we talked a bit about this off air. One of your good friends and training partners, Grant Dawson, I know got his USADA charges dropped, so he's now able to compete again. Just how much of a boost was that heading into your fight? Because I know you and Grant are quite close, and he's a guy that got sort of a raw deal with everything.
Yeah, that was. I think if anyone kind of understood the gym that he was in, it was me at the gym, like having, being forced to not being able to fight for a while. I understand everything that he went through and the ups and downs that come with, having your livelihood taken away from you. So I am so happy that this decision was made, and I'm so happy. Like, he deserves, like, his skill level is at the UFC, and he deserves to be there. So I'm so happy that they finally figured everything out, and they, reinstated him. And I'm excited to see him showcase what he's capable of, like, on the platform that he deserves to be at.
Back to this fight. How do you see this fight unfolding on December 29th?
I always like struggle with these questions. So I'm like, do I want to be cocky, or like, do I want to make a prediction, or do I want to be like respectful? I'm like, how do I play that balance? Because I don't want people to be like, oh, she's being a bitch. Oh, she's too full of herself. Because like this game, like there is an element of confidence to it. Like you have to be confident. You have to be, you kind of have to be arrogant a little bit. Like this is a one-on-one sport. Like it's one person against another, and so I always struggle with these questions because I'm like, oh, what side of the line do I want to go? But I think this is going to be a really exciting fight. Both of us are not scared to fight. Like we're gonna bring it, and as always, definitely gonna see. I envision my hand being raised, and so I think it'd be a little weird if I didn't. But I can see it being a finish.
Have you been told at all if you or Cat are a backup for the main event in case something happens with Chris Cyborg and Amanda Nunes?
No, I haven't heard that at all. I have no idea about her, so.
Okay. Well, no, I just found it interesting that this fight was also on the card. Sometimes they do that where they'll have a fight where, if they need to pull someone out, they would put them in. So that hasn't even crossed your mind then, I guess, by the sounds of it.
No, and that's the thing is, there's no point in letting that cross your mind until it actually happens. Because what if it doesn't happen?
Right.
And
Yeah. Then you lose focus.
Focusing on this. Yeah. So I'm focusing on Cat, and whatever happens, happens.
For your weight cut for this fight, I know in the past you've used Tyler Minton. Is that the case for this fight as well, or are you just doing things on your own?
I have been doing things on my own, but I'll be using Tyler during fight week.
Okay, that's a nice bonus to have. What's next for you after this fight? I'm sure the idea is to be more active if you can, but I'm sure, like you were saying, the UFC really hasn't given any indication that will be the case.
Yeah, I would like to, honestly, I would love to fight 3 times a year. So this will be my second one this year, so hopefully I can get 3 next year. I know they're going to Melbourne, which is the day before my birthday.
Oh, well then they got to do it. They got to do that.
Well, the only problem is it's a very quick turnaround, and I don't think I can make that weight. But I would love to be there as a guest fighter or something like that. Be able to spend time with my family and go back and see my fans in Australia, because I haven't fought in Australia in 4 years, over 4 years. So I'd love to be able to go back there and see the fans that have supported me, from the beginning.
What's downtime looking like for you right now? You mentioned, taking care of the dog and everything like that. Is that pretty much taking up most of it, or are you getting in any Netflix or anything like that?
I play a lot of Xbox.
Okay, what are you playing right now?
I'm playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I've got 83 hours logged right now. And I only play on the weekends because during the week, my focus is on training and that kind of stuff. So it's just on Friday night, Saturday, Sunday. So that's really the time that I play. So I put in some hours. I do some pretty good hours on the weekend, but I love this is my favorite game of all time. I love the Assassin's Creed series, and this one has legitimately it's blown my mind. The storyline's great. I love the theme of it. Visually, it's amazing. It's one of the best yet. So I'm definitely an Assassin's Creed fan. I used to get the collector's editions, so it would come with the figurine and everything.
Okay, so you're going all out.
Oh, well.
Do you play it all with anyone at the gym? Do you do the multiplayer thing at all?
No, I never really a lot of the guys play Call of Duty and those type of games, and I'm terrible at first-person shooters, so I don't really play online or anything like that. I like storylines, just I've always been like that. So I actually got Red Dead Redemption 2. So
man, that's going to take up a lot of time, because I hear that you got to log the hours on that one for sure.
Yeah, well, I like I finished the storyline in Assassin's Creed, but like now I'm trying to finish the map. So, and all like the side quests and stuff like that. So once I finish that, I've got Red Dead 2 to dive into.
Well, up first, it's UFC 232. It's coming up here December 29th. Megan, I always appreciate you taking the time. Just remind people where they can find you on social media, and if you have any sponsors or shoutouts, the floor is yours.
No problem. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter, Megan A_MMA, and I guess just thanks to my coaches, my teammates at the gym, like James and like all those guys, my management team. They've been integral in my growth and helping me get where I am. And I guess sponsors, I got Cage Muscle, Engaged Fightwear. They're amazing. They have legitimately some of the best quality training gear I've had, and I'm just excited to put on a show on December 29th.